Hi there! In this video, we're going to talk about order of operations. So the first thing you'll want to know is, why is order of operations important? Why do I even have to learn this? It's really so that anytime you make a calculation, or any mathematician is doing a calculation, we all follow the same rules, so we end up with the same answers. So it's very important that you follow the order of operations when you're doing your math problems, so that you're consistent with the way that you are doing your calculations. So, what is the order? The order is this. You've probably seen this before. It's written as PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. So, what does it mean? P stands for parentheses. E stands for exponents, which are something like, it will be x squared. This guy right here, this would be an exponent, and parentheses looks like this. If you had something inside the parentheses, like 2 plus 3. M stands for multiplication. D stands for division. A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. So how can you remember PEMDAS besides just remembering PEMDAS? A lot of people remember it as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Not really sure what you're excusing her from, but that's how I learned it, and that's the common way to remember it. And usually it's written out like PEMDAS, like this, just PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. Now, here's something that you need to know about PEMDAS, or the order of operations. There are, if you can see, there's going to be 6 different operations that you're looking at, but really, when we're doing PEMDAS, we're looking at just the order in which we do something, but there's really only 4 orders. So first, we're going to evaluate anything with a parentheses, and we do this starting from left to right, just like when you read in English, you read from left to right, you read math the same way. So first, you're going to scan through and do anything parentheses from left to right. Then, you're going to do your exponents. Multiplication and division are actually in the same level. You can scan through your problem, and if you have any multiplication or division, you do it from left to right. So it doesn't really matter if the division comes first, but you just want to make sure that it's the multiplication and the division come together in the same level. And last but not least is addition and subtraction. So it doesn't matter if you have subtraction first before you have addition. You can do it first because these are in the same level. Okay, so let's come down here and do some simplifying. The first problem says 4 times 2 plus 6. Now, some textbooks, you'll see write it out like this with an X. I don't like to use the X because later on, you might get that confused with the variable X. And so I like to just start off right away using this parentheses, or you could also use a dot. 4.2 plus 6. But I tend to use parentheses, so I am not going to use these methods. I'm going to write out my multiplication with parentheses. So I start from my left to my right over here, and I scan. First thing I see, I have 2 operations here. I have a multiplication, and I have an addition. So according to PEMDAS, if I write it down here, we'll write it in green, P-E-M-D-A-S, and remember we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to do my multiplication or division first. So first I'm going to do 4 times 2, which is 8. And then I add together 8 plus 6, which gives me 14. That's my final answer. Okay, let's do the next one. -2 plus 8 divided by 4. Now, some textbooks, you might see it like this. Plus 8 divided by 4 looks like a fraction, means the same thing. So we want to look at our rules right here. Actually, I tend to like this way better, writing it out as a fraction. So I'm not going to write it this way. I'm going to use it as a fraction. So my rules say first I don't have any parentheses or exponents. I'm going to do my multiplication or division first, and in this case it's division. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. And -2 plus 2 is equal to 0. That's my final answer. Okay, next. All right, I'm going to rewrite my PEMDAS over here, just so we always have it as a reference. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, first I'm going to do my parentheses. So I do have some parentheses. Inside my parentheses, here I have to add these together. So I get 6 plus 2 is 8. All right. And then I have to do my exponents. So here is my exponent here. Oops, and actually I'm going to do it in blue to match here. Here's my exponent, so I have to do next 8 squared. 8 squared means 8 times 8. 8 multiplied by itself 2 times. This gives me 64. And last but not least, 64 divided by 8 is equal to 8. Okay, and my final problem here. Okay, so actually I'm going to leave it here so we can see our PEMDAS and kind of clear up the road so we can see kind of what we're working with. So last thing, all right, I got a few operations here. I have a subtraction here, I have an addition, and I have a multiplication. So according to my rule, I go from left to right. I'm going to do my multiplication first. So first I'm going to do this guy right here, 2 times 5. So I got 5 minus 6 plus 10. Okay, and then I do my addition or subtraction. I go from left to right. It's okay if I do my subtraction first because they're on the same level. So 5 minus 6 is -1, and -1 plus 10 is equal to 9. Okay, so that's how I do my order of operations. Now you might want to check your calculator to see if your calculator that you typically use is programmed for order of operations. So I want you to try in your calculator 5 plus 2 times 3, and you can see I wrote it both ways. Both of this, and this both mean the same thing. So check it out and see what you get. The two choices which you'll probably end up with, you could either end up with 11 or you could either end up with 21. So if we check really quick with order of operations, if we look here, we got please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I have to do my multiplication first. So multiplication first says I'm going to do 2 times 3, which is 6. So this is going to give me 5 plus 6, which is equal to 11. So 11, if you got 11 on your calculator, that means that your calculator is automatically programmed to do order of operations. If you're using, for example, like if you have an iPhone, on the scientific calculator, if you click the calculator and you turn it sideways, it's not programmed for order of operations, so you'd have to enter it in the old school way. However, if you are using your phone, a nice tip for you is this Desmos calculator. If you go online, www.desmos.com/scientific is going to give you a great scientific calculator, but you can also download the app. It's this guy right here is the scientific one. This one is our graphing calculator, which we can use later on. But this is our graphing calc, and this one here is the scientific calculator here. So this is the one you'll want, but you can get both of them. They're free, they're awesome, and you can also use it on the web. But Desmos calculators are programmed to do order of operations, and you can type everything in just the way that you would type it in or that you would write it on your paper. So that's a really good app for you to get if your calculator on your phone that you're happening to use is not order of operations programmed. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.